Good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? Pretty good here, and welcome to the channel. You know, a couple weeks ago I put an aftermarket, I'll call it a replica, Type R wing on my Civic Sport, and I wanted to bring it over and compare it to an authentic Type R wing. So I've got actually my mother's Type R here in black. You guys can see. Pretty sharp looking car. The obvious differences, of course, the venting, the wheels. It's a little bit lower, the ground effects, the hood scoop, you know, the motor, the interior, you know, all that kind of stuff. But let's take a look at the wing. This is the Type R wing. And I had a Type R, of course, before in blue. And I really did like that wing. It did grow on me, and I thought, you know, I'm going to put that on my Civic Sport. So I did. This is the, like I said, the Civic Type R wing. And this is the aftermarket ABS Dynamics wing. In comparing them, I don't see really a huge difference. And I know it'll be kind of hard to tell on video, because of course it's not 3D and you don't get, you know, the full effect of the dimensions of each one. But in comparing the two, we'll start, I guess, with the winglets on the side here. You take a good look at that, and then we'll kind of quickly go over here to the Civic Type R. And there's really not a huge difference. Even the angle down here at the bottom where it flares out, you guys can see right here, looks pretty darn close, if not the same as the way this one flares out here. And like I say, it's kind of hard to tell a difference. Now, the next thing we'll look at is what holds the wing down. These little plastic parts here that hold the winglets to the car, I guess. And you will notice there are seals on these. One thing that mine was missing. They did include, it feels like a foam seal between the parts and the car body itself, just to point that out. But let's take a look at these. Get a good look at that, and then we'll go over and look at mine. And they look pretty darn similar to me as well. So I think in the process of replicating this wing, they did a really good job in speccing out the dimensions for the part. I'm not exactly sure how they did it, but came out really well there too. So then we have the center piece here, what I like to call the wing itself, for me anyway. In looking at this, of course it's black, and I wanted mine to be black as well. I could have gone with any color since I did have to have this painted. And in comparing the two, they look pretty spot on as well. Even almost down to the little piece they have underneath here that you actually attach that part of the wing to the winglets. I will say, you guys can see they did do this in a different color. They did not body match or color match that. They left it kind of a silver, whereas on mine I did go ahead and have those painted, hopefully you can see here, to match the wing as well. So that's one little difference, I guess, between the or one obvious difference between the Type R wing and the wing that I put on. I'm not sure why they don't color match that, but they didn't. Now, there is one bigger difference that I noticed, and a lot of people ask about that, and that is the flexibility of the wing. You know, does it vibrate? Does it bounce around? How stable is it in motion? Now, I haven't tested that yet, and I will, but in just comparing the two by hand, if you go up and kind of push on this Civic Type R authentic wing, you guys can see how it moves there a little bit. Not really much. It's really pretty rigid. If you go over to mine here, it does move a bit more. You guys can see that. I'm trying to exert the same amount of force, you know, on both, but it does move just the slightest bit more than the Civic Type R. Not quite as rigid as this is. Now, I'm being picky in pointing that out. It's not a huge difference. It's not that I you know, go over and grab the replica wing and it's just all over the place, you know, floppy and not very stable. Not at all. But there definitely is a little bit of a difference. And let's do the hatch shut test. We'll see how much it moves. So we'll open that up, and then I'll back off a little here. There, you guys could see it bounce a little bit. Now let's go ahead and do mine. You see it bounced a little bit more. So I'd say yes, indeed, the replica wing is more flexible than the authentic Type R wing. But one thing I will note is that there's a huge cost difference. You know, you're going to pay somewhere, man, by the time you get it painted, buy the authentic wing, you're going to pay somewhere between $2 and $3 grand, I believe, if not more, to purchase that wing. Mine cost about just under 500 bucks complete. Now, that doesn't include installation because I did do it myself. And if you haven't seen that, check out the video on the channel. There is an install video where I carefully drilled holes in my car. But you're going to pay a lot more for the Type R, and I don't think it's worth it. I mean, only, I guess, if you want to say that, you know, you have an authentic Type R wing. I don't know. I would definitely go for the aftermarket ABS if I was looking to put one, even on an authentic Type R, although I believe every one of them comes with a wing. I don't think you can get a Type R without a wing on it. So while we're out here, I thought it might be fun to take a look at a couple of the other differences. I pointed some out briefly in the beginning, but you guys can see the rear end of both of these cars. There is obviously some more paint work or some more coloring as far as the red goes. This does have a 3-outlet exhaust on it as opposed to the Sport manual that has just 2. There is the Type R badging, of course, the red lettering, the red badging that's on the car. I had removed mine, and I also, this was chrome, I did paint it black, so that's a little bit different, even so now. The other part of the wing at the top are these little winglets, I guess they call them, one on each side over here, and then the 3 or 4 in the middle to create a vortex, I guess, to feed the wing, is the way I understand it. I, of course, don't have that. I have the little spoiler, I guess, that came with the car, which I'm fine with, actually. I kind of like that a little bit better myself. Another thing I'll point out a little more closely, I guess, are the wheels. These are wider, more low-profile wheels, and a lot of people have had problems with these, you know, going over potholes or whatever, damaging their rims or flat tires, all kinds of problems I've seen on the web. This does have Brembos. Mine, of course, doesn't. We'll go over here and take a look at mine. It just has the regular Honda wheels, the silver calipers instead of the red, and of course Brembos. I did change out my side markers to clear, put an amber bulb in there. Of course, the Type R comes with the amber side lights. On the blue one that I had, I actually changed those out to smoked, and I think they look much better on this car. But if you're trying to keep it stock, obviously that's the way you'd want to go. A quick peek inside. Obviously there's big difference on the inside of the car. Mine has just the standard cloth with white stitching and a little bit of gray in there. Of course, the very simple audio system. Gauge clusters, of course, very simple. Very, very basic inside mine. Now, if we take a look inside, and we'll go around to the driver's side of the Type R, much more flashy inside, of course. It has the red seats. They are heavily bolstered. I've talked about that before. Has the Type R logo and insignia in the back of the seat. The nice red steering wheel with a little flat area, I guess, underneath. Of course, the more advanced infotainment system and all the other stuff that goes along with the Type R. The red trim. Still has the faux carbon fiber in it, like mine does, though. And then the back seat, another big difference here. They kind of have the cup holders and stuff built in here in the center. It is truly a 4-seater car. Hopefully that video comes out well. And then the faux carbon fiber backs on the seats. Mine certainly does not have that. The only other big difference, which I touched on before we started, is the, and I'm talking about aesthetics, of course, is the scoop on the hood. I kind of like that. That's another thing that I actually wouldn't mind adding to mine. And again, I'm not doing this to try to turn it into a Type R. I had a Type R. If I wanted a Type R, I'd still have it. I just like some of the styling cues or the looks of the Type R. So that's kind of what I'm going for. Who knows? Maybe there's a hood scoop in my future. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, show you guys how that ABS Dynamics wing compares to the authentic OEM Type R wing, and I think it's a pretty darn good match. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you see any major differences? I don't know. Certainly not worth a couple grand. As usual, appreciate you guys watching. Please give this video a big thumbs up. Click that subscribe button if you haven't before. And we'll see you next time on the web. Have a good day. Bye.